Hey, wonderful and beautiful people, welcome back to The Rational Mind, where we discuss anything and everything. As you can see with the title of this video today, we're talking about fascism. Fascism, however you want to say it. I think you've heard about it. You're probably, blue. You're so tired of hearing about it. Everybody, you hear it left and right. You see people accusing each other of it all the time. But what is fascism? And that's what I want to discuss today. We're not getting into Trump. That's not what this video is about. We're also not really going to get into who are some of the bad and who are some of the good players on, either side of the aisle or in the world in general. What this video is about is what is fascism and where are we going, at least in the USA. Again, this video here is a little bit more on US politics, but we will cover, of course, politics from all around the world. So here it is, the definition, dictionary-wise, Google it, fascism. This is what you're told in any modern dictionary these days. Fascism, an authoritarian and nationalistic right-wing system of government and social organization in general, and as an example, an extreme right-wing authoritarian or intolerant of views or practices. I won't get too much into the history of fascism and Hitler's beliefs, but essentially it's that one nation is superior to other nations, and that they have the right to essentially dominate their citizens and or other nations and essentially take over the world. A little bit in the sense of imperialism, but imperialism is more justified by who has the best practices. Nationalism either stems from, like with Nazi Germany, with race, and that they thought they were superior, and also it can stem from just believing your nation is the best, perhaps. Why I wanted to make this video here today is just one big question. Who are the fascists? Of course, we hear all the time that conservatives, we'll jump into this topic here in a second. Get your, wheel rolling, your mind thinking about this right here. What do Democrats and us in the world, the U.S. fought against fascism. The U.S. despised it. The world, came together to crush and oppose not only, Nazi Germany, but Italy and also Japan, who unified, they even had a term, being, essentially the forces of evil. Here, the axis of evil, as it was called. But, what do we dislike about the Nazis? Or what do, people talk about so vehemently? Essentially, they think, or some people seem to think, that Trump is opposing, not only opposing, but subjecting people, oppressing people, shaming people, hating people. And what do we see left and right from CNN and Twitter and all these things? I just want to dive into this discussion a little bit because yesterday and the day before, I jumped onto multiple different streamers. I will not name them by name and who they are. Everyone from TikTok to Twitch, who are just more neutral. They're not even political channels. They don't even, discuss the issue really. And they were gleeful. They were happy, and they were all celebrating and joking about Trump being censored. Some people say it should have happened a long time ago, and some people are suggesting that even more extreme action should be taken against Trump. I mean, if you are against fascism, you're against authoritarianships, you're against totalitarianism. Essentially, these people who claim to be Democrats and free-minded, and again, I will discuss who is who and what is what, but there are in the Democrat Party largely some of the leaders and a lot of the people who are of influence in the Democrat Party now are socialist. I'm not saying that to make a political statement and say that they're bad. I'm saying that because it's a fact by their own words and how they act. And, these people, what are they doing? They're oppressing, somebody's voice, their freedom of speech. Of course, they justify it saying they're protecting certain people, oppressed people. But, again, this goes back to the same thing with socialism. They say you're a conspiracy theorist. You say you're fake. They say it's hearsay. They say it's myth. And then they say it's not really happening or it was an accident or our shadow banning and our limiting of certain people, it was just an accident, or it's just a couple bad actors. We got to get rid of a few people, like Sophie, and a couple of the bad actors that we just don't like, you know, just here and there. It's just a couple people. It's not everybody. And then people start discovering about shadow banning, and it's just a couple people. Oh, it's just really bad people. You shouldn't care about them anyways. And then it's the average person discussing any political issue. Now it's what's been going on in the world, the bug, uh, you know what's been going on. You can't say certain things. You can't oppose. You can't even suggest the smallest amount of self-help or any kind of advice. So who are the fascists? Who are the totalitarians? Who are the authoritarians? Who is really trying to fight for power, essentially, in the United States of America? As we can see, Democrats control everything and push their political agenda and their kids in the public schools. They control what books get into libraries. I found an article in the past, even when I was younger, and an open blog and open forum, and they were discussing how they controlled the books in our public library system, and influencing young minds, and they control the colleges, they control Hollywood. Democrats essentially control almost everything, and with the censorship that we're about to have, shutting down some of the biggest, strongest voices. Again, I'm not trying to say Trump is good. I'm not trying to say Trump is a saint. I am not trying to say that he's amazing or anything like that. What I'm trying to say is that this is dangerous. You get somebody's going to say, "Oh, tech companies are a business." Yes, they are, but essentially they're breaking the law by censoring, and also let's hold the Democrats just a little bit accountable here. We were told that again, conspiracy theories and lies and everything, and now they joke, they laugh, and they snicker, and they just have a good old time talking about conservatives being banned and shunned and outcasted. I've again, one of the reasons I jumped on somebody's live stream, and for some reason they got on the topic and talked about it, and they essentially said that they hoped that nobody who was even somewhat conservative was on watching them or a fan of theirs, as a kind of a small celebrity person. And it's surprising the level of the division that's in this country. There's really, this is going to lead to balkanization, and we're going to have a whole video about a myriad of these topics. What more into the deeper history of what fascism is, the separation this is going to cause, and the difference about maybe even in general people who are going to use technology and people who are not, and also the division and the possible fights that are going to come in the future. Because I don't want to make claims. I don't want to suggest that bad things are coming. But when you ostracize and people aren't allowed to have free thoughts, people aren't allowed to have free speech. There are certain groups of people, even if you think they're bad, that are completely shunned. Should certain people be able to organize extreme violence? No. Perhaps we shouldn't allow that on the internet. But is it one thing to just, discuss issues and discuss topics? It doesn't seem, and not only does it not seem, but it's, there's a crackdown. Google just accused, I don't know if y'all saw that recently, and accused and demanded that YouTube have even more censorship on its platform. All social media is going this way. There's very few places besides Parler and some of these other places, and Google is openly trying to attack and oppose some of these more freedom-minded or open platforms. So it's going to be really interesting looking towards the future. Are more conservative American people going to completely abandon social media? Are they going to start their own? And also, we've already seen how government steps in to shut down businesses depending on what's good for public safety or what's not. In the future, with these people who are authoritarian, who are leftist, who are Democrats, Are they going to try to dominate and decide what kind of businesses people can have? When can they open? How can they open? What can they sell? What can they not sell? Business wise, and again, some people just say business doesn't matter. Some people seem to think or live in this little, um, I don't know, their little echo chambers, and they don't seem to believe that business is really the root of a lot of things and how we live. If you don't allow people to even live and speak and sell basic products, what kind of rights do they actually have in America? What kind of lives can they live? How are people in America supposed to actually go about their lives? I mean, are we supposed? I mean, what do we have now? Like a test to grade ourselves? I mean, are we going to have this Chinese social current system depending on what you think you're a good or bad person? Then that allows you to get certain jobs and or be limited in some ways, or or it makes so you get a certain amount of you know your salary or the money you get. Is that what's going to be dependent on it? It's going to be fascinating in the future, my friends. I hope this was a good food for thought. Let me know if this was a good video or not. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Let me know in the comments sections below. What do you is this dangerous, or do you think it's dangerous? Do you think that we're going to have conservatives make their own news channels? I'm gonna really address this some of these issues again in another video. Are we going to have conservative businesses in different ways? Are we going to have balkanization? And really, who are the bad actors here? Again, I'm not trying to say Democrats are all completely bad. Some of them, I'm sure, have good motives, and in the past they have done, of course, they did good. But it seems today that the Democrat Party is all about using their political machine, CNN, MSNBC. They own it all. BBC. They control all of these organizations, news organizations. They have all these powers, and they get to shun and shut down speech and what people get to see and what people get to hear. I think it's and they have all these protections from the government. So how are our free voices going to get around this, or are we is there going to be any competition that actually allows free speech? So that's what this is about. And also, again, who do you think are the bad actors here? Should Trump be able to say whatever he wants to say? Should he not be able to say whatever he wants to say? Let me know in the comment section below. And again, I'll see y'all again. This is the Rational Mind. I hope you enjoyed my video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out and bye.